Welcome into Extreme Radio, everybody, presented by GracePointe Healthcare. Go to GracePointeHealthcare.com. Mention you're with 8-Man Extreme when you request a new patient appointment online. Get $20 off your new patient office. Visit the GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine, the old-fashioned way. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to have you all back in for the second episode of the year, and let us welcome, for the first time in 2020 on an Extreme Radio broadcast, let us welcome the one and only James Shannon.
Whoop, whoop. Yippee, yippee.
That was very unenthusiastic.
Yippee, yippee. I'm excited to be here. I didn't get to be here last week.
Well, you were on the show
last
year.
year.
Let's clarify
I didn't
that.
get to be here last week, so I'm excited to be here. Finally back. Something to get our minds off of everything that's going on. A little football action.
Your voice recovered from last week.
My voice did recover from last week. I'm actually really glad I wasn't on the show last week, and I told the guys this because I came before the show, but I wasn't anticipating not being on the show.
Uh-huh.
So, background. So, I coached 12U softball this year, and, of course, the season was supposed to be March and April. Everything got postponed, or April and May. Everything got postponed. They said, we're going to give you season in June and July, whatever. That's cool. I coach in Springfield, and there's 2 teams in White House, so there's 3 of us playing. We played a bunch of doubleheaders all season. They said, we're going to do a season-ending tournament. I said, all right, cool. So they said, you're going to play 2 games in the morning, and it's going to be double elimination. So you're going to play 2 games in the morning. If you win both those games, then you don't play again until 7 for the championship, and then the 2 teams that lost will play at 5. So, all right, cool. So we swept both the morning games. I'm like, yo, we got this in the bag. They said if you get to the championship and haven't lost and you lose in the championship, you have to play again Sunday at 5 p.m. I'm like, yo, there's no way we have to play at Sunday at 5 p.m.
It was the overconfidence that's exuding from James right now.
So championship, we had not been beaten on our field with our complete team of girls. So we get to the championship Saturday night, 7 o'clock, and turns out the team playing us had not beaten us all year. They beat us one time because I was missing half my team at their field. I'm rolling in this game. I'm like, yo, I had pregame music bumping. I'm like, we're on our field. This thing's wrapped up. It's a lock.
Yep.
They rolled out the best game they've played all year. And they had just beat a team 8-2 right before that to get into the championship. I'm like, yo, they put their best out that game. There's no way they'd come out firing. They came out firing. And so tight game all the way. We get to the extra innings. They do the international tiebreaker, and we lose. I'm like, yo, that means I got to miss the show tomorrow because I've got to be at the field at 4 for practice or for warm-ups. So I came before the show a little bit. We had a little meeting, and then I had to get back on the road. That was why I wasn't on last week. And then we ended up losing in extra innings again. So, but coaching 4 games in 2 days, my voice was absolutely shot. And then on Friday, the Friday before that, at my work, we ended up being in a negative 10-degree freezer, going back and forth between the freezer and then 80 degrees outside. So I woke up Saturday, my voice was already shot. I coached 3 games and yelled all day. Rolling into Sunday, I had nothing.
Nope.
I couldn't even yell during that championship game Sunday night. I turned to my assistant. I said, "You're going to have to yell at the outfield because I can't even get out to them." So I'm actually glad I wasn't on the show last week. It would have been terrible. It would have been rough. But I'm trying to forget about all of it. I'm trying to set it behind me. I'm definitely coaching next year. I got a little unfinished business. But time to shut that down because it's football season.
Yeah, I went to Cedar Point this past weekend, and I had to, that bottle of Entertainer's Secret. I have the spray that goes in the back. For those who've seen me on Game Side, I have the bottle that's called Entertainer's Secret.
Get your money back for it.
No, it works. It really does. It's a spray that goes in the back of your throat and actually coats your vocal cords and releases the stress, helps it moisturize and all that.
It's called Throat Coat, and you can get it for $3 at Kroger.
It's about the same cost for that.
You can't get nothing for $3 at Kroger. More like Walmart.
Not anymore, but no, it was. I had to do that after Cedar Point
Wally
because
World.
the amount, not Wally World, Cedar Point. It was.
I didn't say you went to Wally World. I said you could get the throat coat for $3 at Wally World.
Just messing with you.
Not a sponsor,
but
could be though.
Could be, absolutely. But
Hit us up, Wally World.
I
frequent you often.
I thought my voice was going to be completely shot after Cedar Point, but I mean, it was fun. It was fun, and I after both days, I just coated the back of my throat, and my voice is sounding fine at the moment, as far as I'm aware.
Why'd you lose your voice at an amusement park?
Because of screaming on the coasters, man.
Why do you scream on the Oh,
They're
my
exciting.
gosh.
They're amazing. You got to let the emotions
We're
out.
gonna have to talk about
Hey,
that
man,
post-show.
One coaster, Top Thrill Dragster, 120 miles an hour.
I've
launch.
only been to one amusement park in my life. I went to.
Really?
Where was it? It's in Bowling Green. It's the one in Bowling Green.
Beach Bend.
Yeah.
Beach Bend
I
Park.
went to Beach Bend.
You haven't been to any other amusement?
No, I didn't, dude. I grew up broke. We went on vacation because someone died. Either we were going to a funeral or someone left us money. That's it.
Well, you got some
I
traveling
swear
to
to
do,
you.
my friend.
I swear to you, that's the truth.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying you got some traveling to do.
We
my
never
friend.
went on a vacation that was like, okay, we're gonna take a summer vacation, and it's not knocking my family. We just one income. We grew up broke. So
Idea for you: All-American game. Afterwards, join me and my buddy Jack. We're going to Dollywood.
bro, I gotta go back to work.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
What do you work Monday through Fridays, right?
Yeah.
Join us Sunday. Yeah, just join
Wait,
us.
where are you going?
Dollywood. It's right there in Pigeon Forge.
Then I gotta drive back Sunday night, and then I gotta work.
You're still gonna have to drive back on Sunday or Saturday.
But I
anyway.
digress.
Yeah, we digress. Anyways,
I
yeah.
digress. Not we.
Speaking of All-American
mouse in
game,
your pocket?
we're gonna talk about that in a second. But real quick, James, anything from last week, because it's kind of difficult to talk by yourself a lot, especially when you don't have someone to bounce your thoughts off. Your thoughts off of. But last week, out of the stuff
Because
I
I've never
talked
done
about-
that by myself.
Oh, right. Yeah, you have, but at least when it comes to
I'm the master of the
ratio.
monologue, sir. I'm great at, and I'm only great at talking to myself because I do it all the time. Talking
Right.
by myself, I do it all the time. So, you throw a mic on me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's normal.
Sometimes, Master, you should consider
The problem's
Twitch
not
streaming.
talking to yourself; it's when you stop talking back to yourself is the issue.
You should consider Twitch streaming, my friend. Just play some Madden. Play some, do some other Xbox
I don't
stuff
like
and stream.
Madden.
All right, fine.
I'll do NCAA,
Do some NCAA. It's coming back probably.
but they don't have it on Xbox One yet. unless they bring it
It'll
back.
probably be here
Ooh,
soon.
Rocket League. I could do Rocket League.
You could stream some of that on Twitch.
Are you guys down with Rocket? Okay. Everyone I talk to about Rocket League is like, "What is that?" And I'm like,
I know what it is.
I just found it a couple months ago, and that's my jam. Like, I love Rocket League.
But
I digress.
Staying on subject, anything from last week you wanted to talk about from the recap of the offseason?
So, I did go back and listen. So obviously, post show because I was coaching a softball game while the show was on. But I digress. So, the D2 situation. I know your opinion is get rid of it
Well, here
or wait till next year.
just to clarify, I don't think Division II should happen in its current format this year because you have 3 teams. This is what I said last week, and I stand by it. You're going to have 3 teams participating in Division II, at least with the format that MTAC has told us that they're going to do. You're going to have 3 teams participating. There's no way you can reasonably do that without one team getting a bye week or one team getting a vacation, in my opinion. So I think because of the teams being because of Providence and Bowling Green being ineligible, because of only 3 teams in Division II. At one point that I didn't bring up last week that I wanted to bring up this week, this brings in tiebreakers. The reason that at least from what we've heard, the reason the conference does not want to put in a point differential or actually points allowed,
which it should be.
The reason they don't want to do points allowed or points against is because of racking up the score. If you're worried about coaches using those tiebreakers or using those situations to a competitive advantage, a team can call themselves a state champion by losing their games, going to Division II, and maybe only playing 1 or 2 games to call themselves a state champion.
So I'm not anti-Division II.
I'm not either.
I'm not anti-Division II. I think there's a different format they should use to determine that.
That's what I'm saying. And I think
I don't.
Yeah.
So TSSAA does their Division II. Basically, it's all the private schools.
Mm-hmm.
And then they split it up from there based off of enrollment size, enrollment numbers. Obviously, I think that would be kind of tough to do for the schools that we cover just because.
Is it enrollment or is it roster size?
Enrollment. Oh, it's not roster. Well, I heard you say that it's not roster size.
It's enrollment.
But I think for our side, I think it should be roster size. I think enrollment's kind of a tricky thing to judge because then you've got to count in if you've got an umbrella school, how many homeschoolers. You might have 50 homeschoolers and only 5 of them are playing. I think that's kind of an unfair number to look at. I think you look at roster size because if you look at the teams we cover, there's various roster sizes across the board.
Mm-hmm.
You have some teams with 12, 13 players. You've got some teams with 25 players. It all depends. And sometimes if you've got a JV program, that boosts your numbers a little bit because you have a pipeline. If you don't have a JV program, you're going to struggle with your numbers sometimes. So I think you go D1, D2, and I think D1 is any team that has over
25?
No.
20?
I would say over 18 players.
18.
If you have a roster of over 18 players, then I think you go D1. If you know that you're going to struggle in a season because teams with, let's say, 14 players, they know they're going to struggle. They already they know that. If you know you have a roster of 25, yeah, you might only have a few stars, but you've got some bench depth. Therefore, I think, at a certain point, let's say, okay, August 1st, you say, okay, and it doesn't matter, the roster size doesn't matter for divisions because you could still play in-division games. Because you still want to give the team with 14 players a chance to play the team with 20-something.
Yeah, give them a chance.
You can still upset them. But I think come August 1st, because you have a good idea of what your roster is going to be or what it's going to look like, you say, okay, and we don't have Swanee or Webb to worry about anymore where they don't start practices until, way late and they have to wait till school comes in. I think you say, look, if you have a roster of more than and supposedly these rosters are being turned into the league. Supposedly. So August 1st, you look at it and you say, okay, this team has 21 players on its roster. If this team makes it to the postseason, they're going to play Division I. If this team has, on August 1st, this team has 15 players. Okay, this team, if it makes it to the postseason, is going to play division. Or you can say, look, no matter what, you're going to play postseason. And your division games and everything are going to set your seeding for that. But, for instance, let's take this year for instance, okay? So you're going to have 3 teams. You're going to have 1 team from the north, 2 teams from the south playing in your D3. So basically, you're going to play your division games. And for me, if you have a team, a roster of 15, let's say you only lose 1 game all year. You qualify for those D1 playoffs. I think you have a choice. I think you give them the option. Hey, do you want to play up here at Division I since you had a better record, in-division record? Or since you don't, or they could say, look, we know we had a great season, but we want to play where we're comfortable at. We're going to play D2. And so you give them that choice. And I think that puts more of the onus back on the teams because here's the problem with the league saying, okay, we're going to do D2 and it's going to be based off your record. Because we want to give guys more chances to play. Okay, well, what if the guys don't want to play? What if they want to go play basketball? There are some players that want more games. But I find it hard to believe that the majority of your players who go through a 1-7 or 1-8 season or 2-7, whatever, that they're going to want to play 2 or 3 extra games just so they can try to win the D2 championship. And like you said, they're going to come out and say, we're the state champions. Well, you only won 3 games all year. You lost to all these teams. You're the best. I hate to put it that way.
Yeah,
but you're the best of the worst. That's call a spade a spade.
And the problem with that I mentioned last week, who's going to say we're Division II champions? People are going to say we're state
nobody's going to say that.
Because if anyone says Division II, they'll ask what was the qualification for that, and then when they ask deeper, they realize then you're not really a state champion. People are going to say we're state champions, even though with us as as outside media, we can tell people that they're state champions technically, but
in their division
and the qualification.
That's the thing. You have to tell them, look, you have to say D2. And then you have to explain what D2 is. You can't say you're state champion because you're not. You're a champion. You're a state champion of this division. You look at TWSAA. There ain't nobody in Division II Single A saying, "Hey, we're the state champion." And then you've got whoever in Division I 6A saying, "Oh, we're the state champion." They qualify it. We are Division I 6A champions. We are the Division II Single A champions. You have to qualify that.
And I mean, people do say in conversations, like we won state my senior year, but I mean, people understand kind of what they're talking about because most of the people when they say we won state, it's that
it's
they're
just
in
and I think and honestly, this is a defense for it's a better setup for the players on that team and the coaches because if you do D2 based off roster size. Then you can explain, we had a smaller roster, we played a playoff system against other teams with smaller rosters, and that's how it worked out. As opposed to, oh yeah, well, we finished in the bottom 3 teams of the league, but we still got playoffs and we still won a championship. That if we're the whole thing 8 = 11. I'm wearing the shirt. We're trying to show people that football is football and it's equal across the board. That sets us back 20 years. If you're saying, oh yeah, we had a playoff system for the bottom 3 teams and when the winner got to call themselves a champion, it's absurd. It's straight up absurd.
Yep.
So, anyways, that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I think at least for one more year they should look back at it, especially when it's just the bottom 3 teams. I think if you have an even number of teams to where nobody has a bye week per se, except for the top 2 teams per se, because the current 6-team format for the Division I playoffs, I think that's set up fair. If you're the best in your division, you deserve a bye week.
Yeah, no, that's set up fair.
The problem is if you had even if you had 4 teams in the bottom of the division, if you had 6 in the North, 6 in the South, then that would work perfectly because you have the same playoff format for each. But you have 4 teams in the bottom for Division II, then that means they get an extra week of rest compared to Division I.
Yeah.
So which I again, if you're worried about coaches using certain tiebreakers and certain strategies to gain a manipulative advantage, if you're worried about the points against thing, then you should be worried about a team thinking we could call ourselves a state champion by just tanking our games, and we could get an extra week of rest and call ourselves a state champion.
And then just win 2 games at the end. And
exactly.
then bam, done.
Yeah. If you're
looking at the live chat, someone brought up a good point. Roster size makes sense, but you have to if you could have kids quit a team, you could be over that 18-player threshold
and then
have kids quit the team, or kids get hurt, and you're like, well, does that really count against my roster? That's a fair point. So don't go ahead and let's do this. Don't set up D1, D2 before the season.
Well, the question is on that because MTAC requires their rosters are supposed to be turned in on August 1st. Isn't that a safe time when?
Okay, so say okay, this is your finalized roster. This is your roster, and then when you get to the end of the season, like they're doing D2 right now, based off the record, instead say, okay, we're going to take D2, and on August 1st, this was your roster. It's under 18 players. You're going to play in the D2 playoffs.
Why not just set it up front and make the headache less of a problem? Just say that immediately when you turn in your roster, you're at 18 players, you're going to be Division II. Or you're at above 18 players, then Division I. Because that's what the TSSAA does. They set it out up front prior to the season. Granted, I know it's the TSSAA and they have a lot more schools to deal with.
Yeah, there's a lot more schools to pick from.
There's a lot more.
So it's apples
and
oranges.
There's a lot more things. But why not just set it that August 1st? Like, okay, you have 14 players on your roster. You're Division II for the season. You have 18 players. You're Division I. Just set it at the front so that each of the teams know, okay, we're still playing for state champions, and we're playing. If you're wanting to give players a motivation of something to play for, let them know what division they're in to know their playing teams are on the equal level.
I still think you let coaches call their shot at the end of the year and say, look, we want to play. We have the roster size for D2, but we had a good season. We want to play D1, and we qualify for it. I still think that's cool.
Fair enough. Anything else from last week?
But I'm not the president of the league, so I digress.
Right. So what about anything else I said last week, about Tennessee Heat staying independent or the teams that are playoff ineligible, that kind of stuff?
That's a good decision. Playoff ineligibility, I mean, I said it before. I applaud Providence Christian for coming out and being forthright about the player situation. That's cool. So, but I'm obviously looking forward to seeing them play this year.
Now, the one thing I found interesting from our conversation I had with league sources is that the conversation is that when Bowling Green talked to the league and they said they could not be affiliated with the school as a team, they couldn't have an association with Legacy Christian Academy of Bowling Green. That made them ineligible because they're not with an affiliated school. So I'm wondering what bylaws have been updated to that. I'm wondering if that automatically makes it the Tennessee Heat can't join back in the conference, if that's the case, and if that's what was properly said to us. Because that's what I heard was that.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have an updated set of the bylaws.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. We haven't seen any updated copies of that since 2017.
We've literally been on bylaw watch for
bylaw
3
watch.
years.
Yeah. Because again, we care about that stuff, and we want to know.
I'm not saying there's not bylaws, updated bylaws.
It's just we haven't seen.
They're not public.
Yeah, they're not public at this point.
So,
But anyways,
but I digress.
yeah, but it's like like I said, we never got an official statement from Providence, but I mean, at least from what we were told, is that they were up front. They came forward with whichever player was ineligible, and like you said, it's that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do with the school, and we applaud Coach Ferguson and the rest of Providence coming forward with that. But
I can't wait to meet him.
I met him at the scheduling meeting. He's a good guy.
He was named LeBron before LeBron got famous. How did that happen?
That's a good question.
I know the name LeBron has been around forever, but I want to know that story. How did he get named LeBron?
I'm sure you'll be able to talk to
Out
him
of
at
all
the
the
Providence
names,
game.
I want to meet him so bad.
Yeah,
I can't wait to meet him.
We're waiting on their schedule. We don't know when Providence's official 8-man debut is as of now, but but of course, whenever their debut is, we'll be there.
We'll get the helmet schedule out to y'all.
Speaking of
in
which,
a couple weeks.
Friday was the deadline set by the Middle Tennessee Athletic Conference for schools to turn in their schedules. The latest update I have from a league source, they said, we are still confirming schedules. Direct quote on this, I'd say they'll be turned in, finalized, and good to go this week. So that's the latest update we've gotten on that. So whenever it is turned into us, we will make sure to get the helmet schedule out.
Rushing our helmet schedule, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything got thrown into a craze because of the pandemic.
He's
obviously,
good though. He'll get it done.
Yep,
He's good.
Got it done. But once that helmet schedule is released, you'll be able to see who's playing against whom, and we will be able to get our broadcast schedule mapped out. We've got an idea for where we're going to go for the first week. As far as we're seeing, first game is going to be August 21st.
That's everything I've seen.
Yeah, because as far as
first games,
yeah,
there could be multiple.
Yeah, first games. Could be multiple because MTAC, again, their starting date or targeted was September 11th. They're allowing member schools to schedule games beforehand. It's just that their in-division games that count for the playoffs don't start until September 11th forward.
Yeah.
That's at least what we've been told. But as far as I'm aware, August 14th, there's no games this weekend unless somebody hasn't told us anything. But looks like August 21st is going to be the first week. But we got a game in mind that we already know about. We're eyeing, but depends on what other games are that week.
And to clarify, I think we found out this week. Actually, I think it was Tuesday. We found out there will not be a jamboree this weekend.
Yep, I tweeted.
That's something else
sent that out,
that we didn't update. That as of last Sunday we thought there was, and then there wasn't. So
yeah, because it was I think it was Lancaster Christian published their schedule and said August 22nd there was the MTAC jamboree. So that's why we had to do some digging and talk to some sources about that. And to clarify, it was that CCS, they didn't conduct the jamboree because they had the idea in mind of keeping keeping the rest of the players and teams safe, of having 10 different schools and their fan bases congregating to one single place, especially in a time of social distancing.
Tis the times.
Yep. So
Tis
they
the times.
so they made sure that they didn't go about that route. So no jamboree this year, and I think that's also TSSAA guidelines. They're not having any jamborees or cross-team scrimmages or anything like that. So it's just aligning with Governor Lee's executive order to allow football to start on time.
Little give and take. You gotta have.
Exactly.
Can't have everything.
Okay. James dropped a bomb on us at social media on Friday. He dropped a bomb on you guys, actually, not on us. So I'm going to take you through a little bit, and then of course James will take the wheel. We'll start out with just recapping last week about what we talked about with the All-American game. So of course it started with back in January. James came by. I can't remember if it was a tripod or some equipment or something I was giving to you. It may have been our hotspot or something like that. I don't know. But he came by, and as I'm walking out to give him whatever it is he came by for in the driveway, he's like, "Hey, the guy who's coordinating the All-American game just walked out." So
I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's literally what you said to me.
No, we found out as we were sitting there.
No, you texted. No, right when I walked up to your car, because you were in my driveway. And right when I walked up,
did I know once I got to here? I thought I found out.
Yeah, you got a text, and then I think it was another person.
Oh yeah, I found out from a couple coaches before that. They told me that there was.
Yep.
It was a cluster situation going on up there.
Yep. The guy who coordinated it just apparently walked out.
We're not even going to say his name, and I hate saying the organization's name, so we're just going to say All-American game.
Yeah, All-American game. Anyway, so
because I don't even know if that's his real name.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I know what his real name is.
We know what his real name is. We know what he's done, but. So he walked out.
Disappeared.
Yeah. So he walked out. He said, apparently, we'll get into that. But we got a call from the assistant manager over at Rocky Top Sportsplex, and he he asked if we would come up and stream the game because that's the number one question parents and players were getting. And supposedly the guy who was coordinating it said he had a crew coming, but of course they never showed up.
Said he had a crew the first year too.
Yeah. So they were. So we agreed last second. Of course, I was James and I were on kind of that conference call, and James was like, it was funny. Yeah, funny. James was like, you want to take the trip up there? So we went up there, got a hotel in Crossville.
This was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
Like I was like, yo, we still have to like end our day.
Right. Yeah. So I got. I got my. So we went up to Crossville, stayed the night because we drove halfway. Because I think it was that you had to get back. You had to either get back to the office or something. I don't remember what it was, but we left later in the night, and we stopped.
I had to go home and pack or something like that.
Yeah, you had to.
We
pack.
couldn't leave right then.
Yeah, so you had to go home and pack and come back. You had to come back down through Franklin, anyways. Because Gatlinburg is all the way to 840 and then out towards a little bit towards Chattanooga, Knoxville. But anyways, so we took the drive out there, stayed in a hotel, got up in the morning, and fortunately the coaches were kind enough to agree to delaying the start of the All-American game so that we could actually get our equipment set up, have ample time to get it done and everything. So we get on site.
Should we tell them why we were going to be late?
Sure. Sure. You want to tell them?
Because I forgot they were an hour ahead.
Yeah, we forgot the Eastern Standard Time.
I thought we were going to get there with an hour to spare, and we were going to get there right at kickoff.
Yeah, that happens
Good
when we're going
times.
between Eastern and Central. But so we went out to Gatlinburg. Got all the equipment set up. Called both of the games. Fortunately, James had been like a month prior. He was down at the 11-man tournament with Hank St. Dennis. So that really helped for you to see a lot of those guys who were there, so that you could give more analysis, know about more stuff in that.
To clarify that story, we
yeah.
did the game Monday
Talked
night.
about it.
We drove back Tuesday. Me, you, and some other people. We got back Tuesday night.
Oh,
Like,
you're talking about
for me-
NHSA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, wash clothes that night,
Mhm.
repacked. Wednesday morning got up, had to try to book a rental car.
Mhm.
Finally got a rental car by like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And then started making the drive down with 2 kids in tow. So we finally got there at like 10 o'clock at night because it took us a little bit longer to get down there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was get home Tuesday night, and we had to go to your place, pick up our vehicle, and then go home.
Yep.
Do everything. Turn around Wednesday morning, try to get the rental, finally leave, and come right back down.
Yep, and you were what was that, a 10-day span between the All-Star game and then down to Florida and then
Yeah,
because
we went down to
Florida?
Dayton on Thursday morning. We were there until Tuesday, then we went to Panama on Saturday. We were there till Tuesday, or came back Tuesday, and then the 11-man stuff was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then drove back on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Crazy
so
stretch
it was-
for you.
Yeah, so about 10 days.
But anyway, so James did PA announcing for all those games, so he was at least able to see the guys, and in the All-American game, it really helped out because that's one of those games, especially with late notice, not even enough time to prep.
PA and stream the game.
Yeah, PA, camera, and color commentary. I mean,
For the All-American game, when I went into the
Yep.
NHSA games, I just did PA, and then I helped him stream help Hank stream the games.
Mhm.
And then when we did All-American, I was doing camera, I was PA announcer, and I was color commentating on the game.
which we have found out has been done multiple times around the country by other
Yeah,
broadcasters.
I wasn't a
We
first.
realized
I'm
I
just the
posted
best.
something about that. We're in a Facebook group of play-by-play announcers, color
Yeah, I
analysts, and all that stuff.
I said I'm not the first, I'm just the best.
He held his own. James held his own.
It was solid.
But
Wasn't the color commentating was kind of spotty,
mhm.
but I'm doing all three at the same time.
Yeah.
Cut me a break.
anyways, so he knew about the 11-man athletes as they were in that All-American game. So we did those games. We talked with I believe it's Andrew Capps is his name, the assistant
Andrew
manager.
Capps, yeah.
Yep,
Great
assistant
dude.
manager.
Great
Yeah.
dude.
He was telling us the email he got was basically the guy who was coordinating it was saying he was only getting he claimed I'm only getting a certain amount of money. He tired of being a scapegoat and going through all this, and he just got up and left.
Literally just
just left after a day of practice for
hit the road.
hit the road. Yeah.
Well, no, it was in the middle of practices on the second day.
in the middle. Yeah, he just left.
Like there were active practices going on, and he just sent him an email. He said, "I'm out."
Yep, randomly. And what was it? Andrew said the first thought he had when he read that email is that we could still do this.
Yeah.
We don't have to leave the kids
no.
on dry.
I give him and Rocky Top,
Mhm.
the whole staff, like 100% credit. They were like, "Yo, we're putting this on. We're making this happen."
The night before the game. Supposedly there was a hotel lobby booked for having the jersey presentations, and when they called the hotel, they hadn't even heard of the guy.
Yeah.
Hadn't even heard of the organization. Or
I think
stuff,
that happened for some of the rooms too. Like, it was.
Yeah, we saw some of that kind of stuff in the 2019 All-American game too. It was pretty stressful in that regard of the lack of communication and all this stuff going on there. But
Poor execution.
again, not mentioning his name, we know what his real name is, and what he's done.
And
but,
it's not what he told everybody else it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Fake last name.
But anyways, so
But we digress.
that happened in 2020, and Andrew was kind enough to tell us to be thankful for us doing this last second and going on that. And as I mentioned on the show last week, we haven't negotiated the terms, obviously, because everything with COVID going on. We're as far as we're aware, we're not even sure if the All-American game is going on.
It is going on.
Have they confirmed
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
occurring? Okay.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
So, we're driving back. I mentioned it on the show last week. Obviously, we're grumbling a little. James and I are, grumbling a little bit about the lack of communication and the malice that occurred with all of that. And so James, of course, said, "What a way to ring in the new year, right?" Which is pretty.
Knew?
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew it was going to be even crazier after that? But so we're driving back, and that's where you, James, started the thought process.
So we made the announcement Friday that we are no longer doing the All-Star game, the Extreme All-Star game. A lot of people not understanding why, kind of, needing more information. So JD and I'll long story short, and if y'all want the long story, I'll tell the long story at some point. But long story short, 2016, JD Young and I were running this, and we had the thought of, why is there no All-Star game for 8-man football in our area, specifically Tennessee and Kentucky? There's All-Star games for everything else. There'd never been one in Tennessee. So we went out on a limb, had the All-Star game. It went great. We've had 4 fantastic games, 4 great games, 4 great years, a lot of great players. I think there's something like 90 players have played in the 4 games. And we've had 7 coaches. One coach did it twice. I think Don Brown was the one that did it twice. 7 coaches just freely give their time. They didn't get paid for it.
Yep.
But they came up and organized the teams in 2 practices. But the whole reason we started the All-Star game was because there was nothing like that in the area. There was nothing like it anywhere around. Of course, other states have their All-Star games. Kansas, Oklahoma, Georgia. I mean, the states have them. There was nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
So we started the All-Star game. And every year it's a blast to put together. It's great to organize. The guys work with us really great. Fort Bluff Camp and NACA are just phenomenal in how they help out.
Dave Secure
I can't say enough about not just Dave.
Everybody else involved.
The whole staff. People that Corona. The people that work in the office, like people that the players and coaches never interact with, that we interact with, just phenomenal. Can't say enough about them. But now knowing, and of course we weren't big fans of the All-American game after the first one. The second one we didn't want to participate, and then Rocky Top stepped in and took over. Andrew Capps helped run it, and he's going to be running it from now on. We really like what they're doing up there in Gatlinburg a lot, and we've talked about it, including JD. We included Isaiah on the conversations. So we're not doing the All-Star game anymore because we're going to pour everything we have into the All-American game.
Yep.
Which the date has moved for that. It's now December 19th, so it's not in January anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's midway through December, and that way it works out with everyone's Christmas breaks. You're not having to take special time away from basketball. But it's just the way they ran it last year on such short notice, and then the updates we've been getting on how they're going to run it. I don't know how he picked the guy that ran it. I don't know how he picked the players, but it was kind of a obscure way of picking them because you'd have multiple players from one team, and some of the players maybe didn't deserve to go, in my opinion. I'm not going to name names, but I think some of them didn't deserve to go. And then you would have no players from certain teams that absolutely should have been there. So, they're going to have a player selection committee. Coaches can nominate players. And in terms of selection committee, I've been asked to be on the committee.
Yeah,
I am on the committee.
congratulations on
Appreciate
that.
it. So I'll have a say on who plays in the game. And so, the guys that are worried about the All-Star game, that maybe that was their only chance to play in a game like that, don't worry about it. If you ball out all year, guess what? You're gonna have a shot to play in the game. You're absolutely gonna have a shot. I'm gonna be your biggest advocate. I think there's one or two other guys in Tennessee that are participating. Sorry, Corona. But I'm gonna have an opportunity to help pick the team. And I'm really looking forward to it.
The other big thing about the All-American game that's interesting this year is that they're only allowing seniors to participate in it. I believe they're having a select number of juniors if the committee believes that they're, if there's either a number that needs to be filled or if there's a certain amount of people. Yeah, James and I both had to step away to get some water in our system because all the talking we're doing.
It's seniors and juniors, and if it's an exceptional sophomore.
That's right. Okay, yeah, seniors, juniors, exceptional sophomore. So they're making it more for those who are closer to their high school careers being over, giving them a good send-off in one last game for their high school careers. But what it ultimately started out with is we're driving back from Gatlinburg. We got that 4-hour drive ahead of us, and James is just thinking, and he's like, and he, kind of looks over and he says, I think it might be time for the All-Star game to fade. And I said, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, it's better. It's it's a business that's established in Gatlinburg and is well run, well organized. They're coordinating this. They're talking about putting on a committee. They're talking about coordinating this even more extremity, and between they were able to work quick and efficiently and fast in some regard. He mentioned, I just think that with the amount of effort it takes for us to coordinate it, why not allow a legitimate business organization to coordinate it, take on the heavy load, especially since they have a beautiful facility on Rocky Top.
Like I've gotten more confirmation that it's the right decision. And again, it's had nothing to do with Corona.
No, absolutely not. That's
this was made way before Corona.
Yeah, this was back in January before any of this stuff happened. Because granted, honestly, if we did try to coordinate the All-Star game this year,
this would be a nightmare. I wouldn't want anything to do with trying to coordinate.
We probably wouldn't be able to do it unless we had it sometime in December because of the MTAC playoffs.
Yeah,
because it just unless we somehow, some way did the All-Star game before the Division I championship, but even then, because of them adding Division II, we couldn't.
Yeah, the little bit we knew about what Rocky Top was going to do with the game, we made the decision pretty much based off that. And as the months have gone on, and I've gotten update emails on the schedule, and I'm not going to put anything out there because that's not my place, but what they're going to do with the game and the weekend, the schedule they're going to have for it, the way they're running it, I've gotten more and more peace about making this decision. Again, I'm going to miss the All-Star game. We got it to it got to the point where it was getting sponsored.
Yep.
JD and I talked to JD the other day. We never would have imagined in a million years it would get to that spot. It was just a couple guys on a wild hair saying, let's put together an all-star game, and everything falling in place. God putting everything in place and everything falling into place.
Yep.
That's all it was. And it was so much fun. I mean, we had 4 great games. We just watched the highlights pre-show just to kind of look back on it.
Yep.
I'm going to miss doing it. I'm going to miss Fort Bluff in a sense, because another reason for us doing this is we want to be more thoroughly involved with the NACA 8-man tournament that they're bringing back this year, as well as the NHSA tournament in Panama City. Because last year we had to miss the first day of games for NHSA because it was the same day as the All-Star game. So we want to be able to do the NACA, cover that tournament well, cover the NHSA tournament well, And then this gives us an opportunity to still do an All-American game or All-Star, whatever, All-American game, still recognize players from up here, but it takes a lot of the pressure off of trying to do scheduling, trying to do the All-Star game at 12 o'clock on Saturday, getting done, cleaning everything up, and then driving straight through to Panama City.
Yep.
We won't have those kind of issues. And a lot of
Now,
people,
to be fair,
a lot of people don't see that because that's behind the scenes stuff people don't know about.
And to be fair, for us coordinating and such, it never was seen as an issue per se.
No, it wasn't an issue. It wasn't a burden. It was just that there's a lot that goes into it, and then we're balancing it with everything going on in the season.
Exactly.
Everything going on. The vote. We tried to perfect the voting. The way we did the voting for players who came. We tried to perfect that and make it better. And I think we did a great job of it last year. But I really like the way that Rocky Top is doing it this year, where they've got a committee. Yep. You can nominate, but it's a group of people. It's a big group of people. There's coaches. There's media people like me. I'm in it. There's a big group of people making these player selections. So there's a lot that goes into the thought of who's going to be on the roster for both the 8 and 11 man.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited to be teaming up with them.
You think about it, for the All-Star game the last few years, the first game it was just you and JD deciding the guys. Then 2017 it was you, me, and Trent. 2018 it was you, me, and Isaiah. Last year, same thing, you, me, and you, myself, and Isaiah.
Well, and then we had the voting, we had the coaches' input. We did that the last 2 years, and I loved it.
Yeah, and it was all it was the same system of first we get coaches nominations, then we each of us guys, or then we put that into a voting system. Then the people who are fans, family, all that, they get to vote on who they want to send to the All-Star game. Then we put in players that we believe should go to the All-Star game who hadn't been mentioned already at that point. So there's a lot of thought that's been put into this. Ultimately, what it came down to is because now James said January. Granted, that was the idea where it started to pop up in January, but it was a lot of months of seeing those emails and reminiscing and
the final decision was made in May, but it wasn't because of Corona. It was this is something we want to do, and let's make sure that this is something we want to do. And then after seeing everything that they were talking about, we all finally got a chance to sit down and talk. And it was, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it. Let's move on to the next big thing. Like I said, there was nothing like this. There was nothing like the All-American game when we started doing this. Now there's something, and it's on a bigger level.
Yep.
It's time to say, look. Obviously, honestly, keeping the game going would be a thing of pride. It's like, we started this, we're going to keep it going.
Right.
Pride says keep it going because it sounds good to have our own All-Star game.
We could have at least done the 5th All-Star game for one more, but it's just with a line.
Look, we had Josh Austin all 4 years. Now he's gone. It wouldn't be the same All-Star game without Josh Austin. Let's just wrap it right here. I'm totally joking.
He was the only one who participated in all 4
All 4 years.
Yeah,
we had some guys do it for 3 years and 2 years, but he deserved it all 4 years. He was one of the best players in the league.
Wasn't he the only freshman ever at an All-Star game? Yeah,
he's the only freshman.
Yeah, I mean there were some other people who were in the lining, but they were
I think he was the only freshman.
Pretty sure he was, yeah. Well, there were other people who were invited, but people who actually participated.
Yeah, I think he was the only one. And you look at the All-Star game, and all the work that went into it, because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that y'all will never find out about, and that's not to toot our own horn. There's just a lot that goes into it. A lot that goes into it.
Yep.
But some of the payoff for it is just seeing guys that play in it go on to college. I think we're at 15 guys that have played in it that have gone on to college. The friendships that guys still have to this day from playing in the first game. Just the whole getting to see. For me, I told the guys before the show, every year it was like the first year again because I was geeking out that you get to see all these uniforms. And then I got to the All-American game and there's even more. And I was like, whoa. But every year you get to see all these uniforms on the same field at the same time. And it's like, this is really cool. Like, this is like, we pulled this off. What the heck?
Now it's going to be matching uniforms, though. It's not going to be the individual ones. That's the only
because they'll do actual
stars and
we
stripes,
also didn't have the money or the organization to get specified jerseys, and I still like the idea of letting them play in their own jersey. But I think the jersey's the only thing I think they might get pants, but they'll get to keep their helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So I can give and take everywhere. But I mean, I like I said, I had a blast. We had a blast organizing it every year. But I'm super stoked about what they're bringing with the All-American game. I think y'all are gonna love it, even more so than the last 2 years. It's going to be so well organized this year.
Yeah, and we're hoping that, especially with the NACA tournament, we're hoping that'll be our first time ever covering it.
Yeah, because they stopped having it. They stopped having it right about the time I started doing this.
It was the 8-man one. Was like 2015 was
Yeah.
the last time they did it. So they've officially said they're bringing it back this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
From talking to because Ryan Scott's pretty close with Dave Skira. He said they're bringing it back. So
we'll have to see how that fits in our schedule, especially with.
I'd love to go down and cover it.
Oh, I would. It's also a matter of making sure with the conference championship, it makes sure that's all aligned.
And try to merge it with NHSA and making sure we can get down there and cover it.
Yeah, the NHSA, they haven't made an official decision on that. I talked to the coordinator over there, Hank St. Dennis, and he mentioned they're waiting on everybody's schedules and what the conferences are going to do. I think he was waiting on all that MTech. I'm sure they'll probably do it. It's just a matter of when do you align that, because 3 weeks into November, next week after that is Thanksgiving. So that's the question of
so that's more explanation about the social media post the other day. We wanted to go ahead and get it out there, let people know, and then we'll like I said, we'll explain more today, which we did. There was a lot that went into the decision. It's not just we're stopping it because of Corona.
Yeah, no.
It's a totally different story.
Yeah, then honestly, I mean, I don't think it doesn't even have a fraction of a percent that influenced our decision, because we still.
No, it did. I didn't. It didn't even cross my mind.
Unless health officials had advised otherwise and said you can't do all-star games or any of that kind of stuff, we probably would have still coordinated it.
Probably.
Unless it's
We would have and we would have worked with NACA to make sure that.
Everything was social
things
distance
that they were trying to set up.
Yeah, because it's because I don't know what their county situation is over there.
Ray County, I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably, because of it mostly being mountains and spaced.
I know they were supposed to have a coaches conference, and then they changed it to an electronic coaches conference.
Yeah.
To not have everybody on site.
Yeah. I know they're doing some social distancing stuff over there, but I don't think it's not as severe over there as say in Williamson County or Davidson County or Rutherford.
Nothing's as severe as Williamson.
Yeah, Davidson. Of course not. But all right, well, yep, that's a big explanation about it with the All-Star game. Sailing off into the sunset.
And again, that doesn't mean y'all don't ball out all year, because. Me and everyone else on the committee is going to be checking y'all out.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep, and what is it? Sophomores with special exemptions. That means Deuce Bragg is eligible this year.
Yeah,
that's just one name.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah, because he didn't.
But I think part of the thing too is and of course we always had sophomores, we had freshmen, but there's just something about letting the juniors and seniors play it out. Letting them have their moment. But there's some really good sophomores out there like Deuce, and if he's playing better than junior or senior, maybe he'll come.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
knows?
We'll have to see how that all plays out. But previous games, my friend. Let's go through a highlight. So take me back to the beginning, the first All-Star game. Some of the great moments you had in the 2016 All-Star game, just that weekend.
I don't even remember all the way back to the 2016 game.
Come on, man. Come on, you're supposed to help me out here.
All right, I'll tell you something easier. I'll tell you something better, okay? So we're going to do a game, and so 2016 we don't actually have I in my infinite wisdom didn't write down the rosters that was there. But I do have a picture of both teams. So, and we have a roster for 17 and 18 and 19.
Yep.
So what I'm going to try to do
is guess.
Is name the players from each year real quick. And I'm going to go through. So 16, I'm looking at the pictures for both teams. I'm going to name off the players real quick. Like I said, there's 90-something individual players that played in all 4 games.
Good luck with that.
So, starting in 2016 with Team Away, we have Antonio Zeta, who's currently in West Florida, Cody Reese, Jackson Daughter, Dever Zapata, Pierce Matthews, Zane Quibido, Andrew Schindel, Elijah Jones, Isaiah Webb, Jared Trahan, DJ Slayton, still the coolest name ever, Hunter Meeks, Ethan Garrison, who's at KCU, and Josh Jones. And that's Team Away. Team Home, you have Trent Legate, Colton Rollins, Wes Watson, Jake Wright, Brandon Miner, Andrew Jones, Patrick Pembridge. Oh, I can't believe oh no, I know who this is. Clint Collins.
Yep.
Was wearing the Heat uniform. Spencer Baird, Josh Austin, Jax Nicholson, Tucker Brown, and Andrew Jones. And Hayden Weeks. Played in that first year.
Yeah, he played the first year.
First and second year.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I don't think Hayden Weeks was. I don't think Hayden Weeks went to the. I'm trying to remember. I could have sworn.
Hold on, someone from FCA was there.
I could have sworn.
Number 16.
I could have sworn that Hayden Weeks. 16.
Holcomb.
Yeah, it was Holcomb.
Holcomb.
Switch
I can't believe I forgot.
I could
my
have
bad,
sworn
Braden.
Hayden Weeks didn't go to the first All-Star game because
No.
of his concussion.
He didn't go.
Yeah,
it was Holcomb.
Second year
It was
he
Holcomb.
went in 2017.
My bad.
All right,
My bad,
you ready
Braden.
to try and name the 2017
Don't hunt me
rosters?
down. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to look at the picture, but I'm not going to look at the roster.
We'll start out with.
If I can find it. Jeez.
We'll start out with Team Legate.
Gonna go all
once
the way
you
through
find the pictures.
Instagram.
Hey,
I
we
think
post
it's just
lot.
a full. Okay, so I'll do Team Legate.
Mhm.
All right, so where's it at? I gotta go all the way to November.
Well, it says in the roster 2017 pending any trades. Here's the official roster for these.
We
two
never
teams
had.
again.
I think we had one trade.
I don't think it was after the draft though. I think most of them the coaches had pre-existing agreements.
That's true. We always the agreement was always there that each coach had the players from their own team, and then
they probably make some other step back because what was it? Brandon Miner was the first. Yeah, actually, this is an interesting question for you. Who was the first overall pick in each of the drafts?
Jeez, I don't remember. What the heck?
Because Brandon Miner was 2017. I know that for sure. I think.
Okay. So
anyways,
okay.
rosters.
So
Legate.
Team Legate. All right, Team Legate. I've got Spencer Baird, Chris Savely, Dustin Stinsby.
You were wrong on the first one. Baird was not on Team Legate.
He's wearing a white jersey.
That's not.
Oh, Team Legate was home.
Yeah. Team Legate was home. Oh, so you're only with it? Okay, Team Jones.
Okay, Team Jones. Okay.
Team Jones then. Yeah, you got Spencer.
Then
Baird.
I'm right. Spencer Baird.
You were wrong about
Chris
the Legate
Savely,
pickings.
Dustin Stinsby, Josh Austin, Justin Elguhari, Greg Kilpatrick.
Wait a minute, Justin Elguhari. Yep. Okay, who's next? I'm making sure
Isaac
it's
Williams,
not in order in here.
Brandon Miner, Andrew Schindel, Graham Harrison, Ethan Garrison, and Hayden Weeks and Micah DeGrood.
Okay. I'll just read out.
We're all away.
Yep. Weeks, Miner, Stensby, Williams, Schindel, Austin, Harrison.
I just read them all.
I'm reading it in the order that's on here because they're out of the Elgary, Baird, Jack James.
I missed James.
Yep.
Where is James in this picture?
He might not be in that picture. Garrison, Kilpatrick, Redding, DeGrood, Sabler.
Sure enough, he's not on this picture.
Yeah, he probably just wasn't in that one. So you got everything right that was on the photo. It's just you missed.
Okay. So Team Legate.
Uh-huh.
Caden Dickerson, Riley Davis, Jaden Frazier.
Caden Dickerson is not on the roster here. Team Legate.
He came up. He's wearing a home jersey. He came up for the weekend.
Last second.
He was injured. Yeah.
Okay.
John Buchanan, Gabe Stevens, Zane Quibido, Riley Hall, John Trahan, Jake Wright, Justin Bader, John Stock, Gage Holman, Jalen Tillman, James Redding, and
Redding's not on this roster either.
Okay. And then Jalen Hurts.
No,
What's his last name for Hendersonville?
And HCA.
Jalen
Cole.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yep. So Wright, Quibido, Trey, and Tillman. Stock,
So I've only
Frazier,
messed up on two.
Buchanan, Davis, Hall, Holman, Stevens, Bader, Cole, and Sturgis. Okay.
I've only messed up on 2 out of the 2 years.
So that was 2017.
17.
All right. You ready for 2018?
We got time. Yeah, let's go.
Let's start with
18.
Let's start with Coach Don Brown with the alumnus and his son Tucker Brown.
So Team Brown. I got to get all the way to November on this thing.
Yep. We post a lot on social media. That's a good thing.
Might be easier if I do it not picture by picture.
Hey, I mean, you have a
let's see.
photographic memory.
I do, but it's helping. I have to look at these rosters. Okay, so nope, that's 19. I need 18. I went too far. Okay, here we go. All right, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Preston Sloan, Micah DeGroot. Okay, so we're gonna go. Not Brown.
Yeah, it's Brown first.
Brown was away. Okay.
Yeah, you got
Preston Sloan, Micah DeGrood. Who is that? I don't even remember who that is. I'll figure it out. John Buchanan, Kalen McLean, Chris Savely, Nick Ambrose, Josh Austin, and they're kind of hidden on this picture. I know I'm missing some, but we had a smaller roster that year.
Several.
They're all like back behind everybody. Okay, so who am I missing that year?
All right, so Sloan, Buchanan, Brown, Tanner Brown, Cooper,
Tanner. I miss Tanner.
Cooper Guy,
Okay.
Gage Holman,
Okay.
Chris Savely,
Okay.
Riley Davis, Cameron B, sophomore, Bowling Green, Will Hugley, Sacred Heart. You got McLean, you got DeGrood, I believe you mentioned Stock, Diaz, Elijah Diaz.
Elijah Diaz, yeah.
Tennessee Heat, Nick Ambrose, and then Josh Austin.
Okay.
That's all. All right,
So-
Team Rollins with Coach Bragg.
Okay. I think this one will be a little bit easier. Jonathan Knotts, Riley Hall, Crutcher Ezell, John Trahan, Ben Matthews, Sonny Reed,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Tillman,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Bowden.
Yep.
Jacob Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was someone else from Lancaster. Shoot.
Yes, there is.
Jacob Gurley. Matt Bowden.
He's going to be a junior this year.
Lane Spurlock.
Let's see. Yeah, you got it right.
Wow, we lost some viewers from doing this. Anyways. And so Savar.
Yep.
And that's all I remember.
All right, so Salstron, Bowden, Crutcherzell.
Okay, there's Salstron and there's Dickerson.
Crutcherzell, Ben Matthews.
I got Ben Matthews.
Sonny Reed, you got Savar, Gurley, you got Goolsby, Caden Dickerson,
I miss Goolsby.
John Trahan, Jalen Brown from Sacred Heart,
Yeah, I miss Brown.
Riley Hall, Jonathan Knotts, Lane Spurlock, and Jalen Tillman.
Okay.
You missed a few there, but
Yeah, when you have 90 players in 4 years, it mixes together. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If I see them out in public, I'll know what their name is.
Yep.
And I'll say what's up.
But if
Because every single one of them means something special to me. Because especially the guys in that first year, they had absolutely no idea what they were getting themselves into. The coaches had no idea what they were getting themselves into, and they still came and did the game. And it means the world to me. That they absolutely put themselves out there, and thankfully everything paid off. It was a great game, great weekend.
now time for the 2019 Chick-fil-A Extreme All-Star Game.
Okay. Had to throw that little plug in there.
We'll start with away Team Dotterer with Coach Steve Adams.
See, and I don't even remember who was on Dotterer. I just saw a picture.
Recent.
I just saw a picture of the roster, but I don't want to cheat. Okay, so Dotterer was team home, right?
Away.
It was away. Okay. Asa Sheets, Andrew Hasley, whatever.
Hasley, yeah.
Josh Salstron, Jonah Rorchi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my tablet died. Caleb McLean, Elijah Diaz, Avery Harper, Cam Robinson, Josh Madden, Josh Austin.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dude for FCA.
He was a junior at the time. He's a senior going into the season.
I don't remember his name.
Think about the family that was Infinite has a lot of members, a lot of kids.
Well, I know Sam Hubbard.
No, I'm talking about FCA. A lot of kids.
I don't know.
2016, he was a senior. Davis Carpenter.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Carpenter. I'm talking. Oh, Noah Shoa.
That's
what I'm talking about. I knew Davis. So Davis Carpenter, yeah, Sam Hubbard, and then that's it.
Yeah, it looks like you got them all. Robinson, Austin, Hasley, Diaz, McLean, Rorty, Showa Sheets, Hubbard, Ezel, Carpenter, Madden, Salstrand, and Harper. All right, Team Stensby with Coach Brian Hollis.
Tristan Davidson, Johnny Stapleton,
Mm-hmm.
Trace Aldrett,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Guy, Gage Holman, Kobe Sweat, Christian Sharp, Dedrick McLean, Riley Hall, Jamari Teague, Aiden Hooper, Brandon Goolsby, and that's it. Who did I miss?
Let's see. Sharp, Teague, Hooper, Goolsby, Stapleton, CCS, Riley Hall, Gage Holman, Trace Aldrett, Carter Sutton,
Carter Sutton is who I missed.
Joel
I missed Thomason.
Yep, senior. Cooper Guy, Kobe Sweat, Tristan Davidson, and Dedrick McLean.
Yep.
That's all the 2019 guys.
I will say with between the 4 All-Star games, every school that had 8-man football in that 4-year period, whether it was early on or late or what, we got
Everyone
players from every
once.
school. There is no school that we did not get players from, except Ezel Harding.
Yep. Ezel Harding was the only one, and that's
But
because they went down to the national championship.
Sacred Heart, we finally got a couple players from.
Mm-hmm. Lighthouse, their first
Lighthouse,
year
we finally
year.
got players from. Tennessee School for the Deaf, we got Tristan Davidson.
Yep.
Who else did we really never? South Haven, we got players from
There's,
2 years ago in 2018.
Yep.
You know, a couple schools that we weren't able to get players from the first couple of years.
Yeah.
We finally, last couple of years, we got it. So, I mean, it was really cool to see everybody on the field at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just something. That's something you don't forget.
Exactly. Well, it was a nice game there. It looks like you basically got about 80, 90% of them. So,
Hey, listen, and again, if I see you on the street, I'm gonna say what's up.
right. Well, that's gonna about wrap it up. Before we actually get to the, we got a new feature on the show. Before we get to that, just want to remind you guys about the scheduling deadline Friday. I'm looking at the schedules right now, post COVID. Actually, I'm looking at this. I showed this to the guys in studio. I'll show it to you again, James. This is what our schedule looked like before COVID-19 hit, when the schedules were what we were sent finalized in May before they did it. Currently, because we haven't got the schedules, this is post-COVID.
Yeah,
There's a lot of white space
there's
right
a lot
there.
of gaps.
We'll eventually, like I said, the direct quote from league sources that they are supposed to be getting those schedules by the end of by this week. Not sure if that means Friday or Saturday or if that means midweek. We're not sure, but as soon as we get that, we'll be finalizing our broadcast schedule, revealing each of our games week by week. We'll, of course, be releasing the helmet schedule as soon as possible, and we'll just be ready for a full season of football. We're excited, although it's not starting on August 14th like we'd prefer.
There's still football.
It's football. It's still football.
There's still football.
It's just pushed back deeper
Beautiful
into November.
football.
Mm-hmm. It's all leading up to the MTAC Championship on November 21st, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, go follow our TikTok.
No. Go follow
and
it for
Instagram
James
and Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, go follow any of our social media profiles.
I promise
if
you, there's
already.
better videos coming on our TikTok.
And of
I've got some ideas.
And of course, in the words of James, get the bell on. You got to bring it back, man.
That's last year.
You're still. I know you're going to keep saying that this season.
No, it's done.
The bell on is ceased now.
It's retired.
Just click subscribe.
Everybody's got the bell. Yeah, go subscribe.
Yep. And
blow
get
this
the
thing
bell
up.
on.
We've only got 645 subscribers. Come on, y'all.
We want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year.
Come on, let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So once the schedules are released, of course, you could also follow 8-Man Extreme. They'll retweet any of my stuff or any updates we get on league sources for that regard. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up Extreme Radio presented by GracePointe Healthcare. GracePointeHealthcare.com. Request your appointment online. Mention you're with 8-Man Extreme. You get $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare. Modern medicine the old-fashioned way. For James, myself, Spencer Thompson, we will see you guys later as we go into the season. So.
See ya!